Jurassic World. So I finally got to see the hotly anticipated, record-breaking Jurassic World in cinemas, and what did I think? I thought it was pretty good, actually. It's definitely a film riddled with flaws. It's definitely not going to break... Well, it did break a few records, actually, but it's not going to break any records in terms of it being a quality film, by any means, but it's a good amount of fun. It's a good time at the movies, and I respect it for that achievement. The story this time around pretty much ignores the events of the second and third movies, which is a little odd, but, you know, whatever, don't bog yourself down with it, I guess. So it carries on essentially 20 years after the first movie, and they've finally been able to open a Jurassic Park, now called Jurassic World, to detach itself from that event, which everyone knows about in this universe, to the public. And everyone's there, everyone's going there, but it's been open for about 10 years, this park, and people are getting a little bit bored now. They're like, dinosaurs are like elephants now, you know, we can see them all the time, and I don't think that's quite how long it would take. 10 years to get bored of dinosaurs, but, you know, not my universe apparently. So the executives at the park decide, look, we got to make this more interesting, we got to get people in, we got to make this park relevant again, and we got to make this new dinosaur which is bigger, scarier, and is of course going to escape and kill lots of people. That's a bad thing. Colin Trevorrow's directing this from the movie Safety Not Guaranteed. Not really sure how he got this job, but regardless, Steven Spielberg is the executive producer, so he is overseeing the project, which is, you know, good, I guess. Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard are essentially the stars of the film. They have their weird romantic relationship, which apparently films have to have, and it's fairly ham-fisted, so that's not fun. And it's also sort of stars Ty Simpkins and Nick Robinson as two brothers also caught on the island. So mixing the inevitable escape of this mosasaur with a bad guy played by Vincent D'Onofrio, I think that's how you say his name, who is a fantastic actor, by the way, trying to weaponize raptors, then you've got yourself a dumb movie. Now, I remember saying Jurassic Park 3 was dumb. If you want to see that review, I'll link it in the description. But it's dumb. This is dumb in a different way. This is just big budget dumb, and that was more like Godzilla walking around in a rubber man suit dumb, if that makes sense. This movie just... It's not the most coherent plot. The plot isn't very, you know, it's not very focused, and it feels a little bit all over the place, but not as much as The Lost World did. Thank God, it's still got something there, and it's made up of a bunch of action sequences that are at least enjoyable. In my review for the first Jurassic Park, I said that people had huge nostalgia blinders for that film, and gave it a little bit too much credit, but I still hugely respect the film. I think it's a good film. If you are one of those people that has huge nostalgia for Jurassic Park 1, which isn't a bad thing, by the way, do what you like. If you have huge nostalgic feelings for that film, you will probably be brought close to tears in the opening of this film. You'll get goosebumps. Certainly I did, and I don't feel anything for the first movie, really. If you have nostalgia, you are going to have the feels. When these two kids are coming up on Jurassic World and they go through and they're going in through and they're just walking and the music's playing and you're like, oh, that's it. That's my jam. That's it. And then he opens the doors, it's like, and it's like, yeah, okay, they know what they're doing. That will get you instantly roped in. That's a very good part on the film. You are instantly like, okay, I'm behind this now. So the film starts and you're instantly behind it, and it's like, yes, this is the direction I want to go in. And it was also very interesting to see the park actually in full operation. That was a little different thing. And each of these films have tried to be a little bit different to varying degrees of success. This film does a good job. I mean, it's the same sort of thing. People getting eaten by dinosaurs, and these people are stupid and don't deal with the dinosaurs when they should have done. But this premise is different. I guess that's okay. There are issues, however. The two kids have some forced subplots, which I won't go into. They don't feel... They feel like they just needed something else in the movie to like... And I get it. They have the focus in these control rooms, and people are trying to control the Indominus Rex that's escaped, and they're like, okay, so what do we need to do? Well, we need to have someone out there who needs to get, you know, encountered with this Rex and create some action sequences. So they have these kids. And I guess that works. Like, the action sequences are enjoyable with the kids, and they're fine. But the kids themselves, they, as I said, 4 subplots, and it's like, oh, and they don't really go into some of them. It's like, why? They're not good characters, in my opinion. Unlike Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt, which are, like the first film, cartoon characters, but enjoyable cartoon characters. They're fairly shallow, but they are good. And Chris Pratt has a very good relationship with the raptors, and that was one of the best parts of this movie. And apparently a lot of people had misgivings about that in the trailers. I don't really care about that. The main misgiving I had in the trailer was that Chris Pratt looked kind of boring, and he is obviously a very talented comedic actor, so I felt his talents were being a little bit wasted in that trailer. This film actually does use his comedic talents to an extent. It doesn't go overboard with them. Like the Guardians of the Galaxy didn't go overboard, it just doesn't go that far with them. It uses them, but it doesn't bank on them. Chris Pratt is a good leading man. His relationship with the raptors, like, it's a relationship where it's like, I've trained the raptors, but they're still velociraptors and they want to kill me. I've trained them, but they still think they want to eat me. And that's a very interesting dynamic, which is done very well, actually, because there are some moments where he's like, you know, be nice, raptors, be nice, and you don't always know what they're going to do. And so there's always that suspense because you're like, what's going to happen here? And I really enjoyed that. Obviously, visually, the film is incredible. There's only one use of animatronics in this film, and that works pretty well. The animatronics are even better than the original Jurassic Park, actually, but it's only used once. CGI, obviously, 20 years on now, 22 even. The CGI looks incredible. It's good CGI, but, you know, nothing to complain about, really. The film looks incredible. Action sequences are all fairly enjoyable. Like, the third quarter of this film, it started to lose my interest. It's like, okay, yeah, whatever, you're biting things. Then the climax is the last quarter of the film. It's a very extended climax, and I remember at the time thinking, this is such a long climax, but then it slowly grabbed me back. In those last 30, 45 minutes of climax, it starts getting my attention back again. I was like, oh, okay, I can get behind this again. And so it ends on a high, like, some really cool stuff happens. It's a lot of fun. There are some slow moments in the, as I said, the third quarter of the film that are kind of forgettable, and there's some really dumb stuff in this film. Like a moment with Jeeps, it's like, are you sure? Are you sure you can do that, children? I mean, the film's filled with dumb stuff. It's filled with plot holes as well. It's just, the plot isn't that good. But, like the first Jurassic Park, a simple story doesn't need to condemn your movie if you have enough stuff around it. Jurassic Park 1 had that sense of incredible wonder with these dinosaurs. They were astonishingly well realised. This film, obviously they're well realised as dinosaurs because we have access to even better technology than they did, but there's not the same sense of wonder, but they're still enjoyable to watch, and some of the action scenes are very creative, and the Indominus Rex can do a lot of cool things, even though the actual design of the Rex isn't the most unique and terrifying in my opinion. Not to bring it down that far, I mean, this thing can do some really cool stuff that makes up for that. There's also always the added dread of the fact that in the first movies there were these few people on the island that could have died, and, you know, whether you cared if they died or not depended on whether you liked them. In this film, there's a whole operational park, so there's always the sense of, oh my, there's a big park filled with people, don't want them to die, that's like many, many civilian lives. So that's also plays to the film's benefit. So in the end, despite some flaws, Jurassic World, I think, is actually a good time. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It is not as good as the first film. It is a fairly solid 7, not a fairly high 7, but it's a solid film, I think. It's a good amount of fun. Switch your brain off, watch it. I mean, the characters aren't going to grab you. I appreciate it for being simplistic fun, and towards the end it got my attention back again, and I had it from the beginning. It's just a little bit like towards the latter half, the middle, if you know what I mean. Just that bit was a bit like, could have shaved those bits off. There's some really dumb stuff in this movie, which is like, but you ignore it and move on, and if you do that, you're going to have a good time. Guys, that's my Jurassic World review. If you've liked all of my Jurassic Park reviews, you know, please, I'm glad you did. If you haven't seen them, I'll put them in the description box below, and if you like this video, please like and favourite in the boxes below. You know what to click. If you want to see more of this, then please subscribe. There's always more coming, and thank you very much for watching.